Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Entrepreneur's Kitchen. This is episode number 28. It's unbelievable that we managed to go so far. And thanks to you for, always sticking with us. This was amazing. But it's been... Good evening, everyone. Been an amazing 4 weeks. Wait, I forgot to switch off my phone. So... Tonight, I have a guest. He's a very special guest. He's not far from where I live. He's also in a close vicinity of Salzburg. That's Gerhard Sigl. Salzburg and Command International. Command International is the company he works for. He's the CEO. Seems to have a magnetic effect on him. So he studied in Salzburg. He was a young boy. And then, not far from here, then he goes away to the world, but before going away as a student, he already works for Command International, and then he leaves for a couple of years, and then he comes back, and after he starts working for this company, they start tripling their revenue. So we're also going to talk about how that's even possible. Please welcome with me Gerhard Sigl in his kitchen. Hi Gerhard, how are you?
Thank you very much. Hi, Seva.
Hi.
Thank you. I really enjoyed to be part of this show.
Oh, thank you so much for joining me on the Friday evening. It's you must be really sad. There is nothing better you can do on a Friday night than being at the Entrepreneur's Kitchen.
It's the best what could happen.
Oh, lovely. Really cool. Thank you so much. So, Gerhard, Command International is one of the hidden champions, in the world for providing security and intercommunication solutions for, high security environments such as oil platforms, hospitals, parking lots, and even prisons. So, how many people work with you here?
So at the headquarters, we are around about 200 people, and this is mainly divided in 3 parts, which is logistics and production, and then innovation department, and marketing and sales. Of course, administration, but that's kind of where the company has. And worldwide, we are around about close to 500 people.
Okay.
We have a turnover group-wide, worldwide of around about 85 to 90 million. Depending on how far we achieve our budget this year, right?
Yeah, we'll talk about money later. But before we talk about money, without food, there is nothing. How do you actually? What is your relationship with food?
Yeah, food plays really a central role in my life. I had an issue with my health actually in the 90s, and then I really came to find that I had some problems with certain kind of food, right? And then I really had to change my diet a few times. And by this way, I really enjoy them, and I really appreciate the value of food and also the quality. And we share this in our entire family. And we also want to share this with our kids so that they carry this forward and they also appreciate this in their lives. Yeah.
Yeah, so you were like my family, quite food obsessed.
Yeah.
And do you like cooking? Right? Do you like cooking?
I like cooking. I do like cooking, but I'm glad that, or I'm lucky that I have a wife which enjoys cooking herself, and she really does it very nicely. And you can see the little bits, but not because I'm doing a lot of sport.
No worries. But up here, it looks all good. You also don't see my belly part. So that's the good thing about, putting the computer high up. So exactly. So, if you were, so with the 3 ingredients we provided, or, you had to choose yourself, what did you come up with?
Yeah, actually, to be honest, it's not rocket science. Yeah,
exactly.
It's my daily practice. I do in the morning, and it's my breakfast, and it's real energy food. And it really took me some time to really find the right ingredients for me. And so this is, first of all, it's some kind of a porridge. Yeah.
Porridge,
So
yeah.
it's oat inside and also nuts, some soft fruits, and also linseed, you call them, right?
What's that?
Linseed, Leinsamen.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
linseed.
Yeah.
I had to Google it today because I knew that I have to know
I'm
the details,
I'm sure
right?
you're right.
And I sweeten it with apricot jam.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And then after, at the end, because this has to soak in hot water, so this at least half an
Ah,
hour, right?
excellent.
And I don't take it with milk. And then there's a very special ingredient, and this is really, I know it's only from recent, that
Mm-hmm.
this link oil, yeah?
Ah, okay, that's good. Yeah,
Yeah,
Gerhard, I'm hearing from the engine room that it would be awesome if you could get a little closer to your microphone for a
okay,
better, yes, for a better sound
like this.
experience. Yes, I think so. We'll see. My engine room
Okay.
talks to me.
Maybe I can check my microphone level as well.
Okay. Um, and yeah, so excellent. Perfect. Or you might also take a headphone, I'm hearing, if you want to. If you have something handy, you can just stick in.
I will have to, yeah, I don't have a proper drawer for my laptop.
It's,
So
I
is it
think,
good enough
I think now it's
now?
better. Yeah, I think now it's better. Let me check here on my end too. We should be fine. And otherwise,
Otherwise, I can pick up a microphone, but it's only, the cord is just half a meter.
no,
So
I mean, while we were testing the stream, it was all fine. So it looks,
yeah,
that while we stream, things change. Yeah. Well, yeah, it says, oh, they say a little better now. Perfect. So,
good.
as far as you outside, at the other end of the stream, guys, as far as you understand what we're saying, you might also ask questions. We have the Slido event code 44369. And you can ask Gerhard or me all sorts of questions. We're looking forward to hearing from you. Your questions are also what makes this show really special and interesting. So I'm sure it's going to be awesome if you guys join in as well. Gerhard, so you grew up in Salzburg more or less, right? In the vicinities and close parts, not directly in the city, if I'm wrong.
Actually, I am from Upper Austria. Yeah.
Oh.
So this is the country where the county where the potatoes come from. Yeah.
The potatoes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the stories say so. No, I'm actually next to Salzburg, next to the border to Bavaria. So when I'm on my balcony, I can look over to Bavaria.
Yeah.
And so it's 40 kilometers roughly north of Salzburg city.
Yeah, so I mean, it's
Yeah.
like all very close by, and then you came to Salzburg. After you finished your first studies, and then you started working at this company. Did you ever know that you would always come back and always come back and always come back?
Actually, the what really sticks with command is the culture. Yeah,
Yeah.
it always had a culture of that people are close to each other. We have a very strong feedback culture, and also when people you have actually visited
Hmm.
us one time at our company, and when people visit us, all of from all of them, we get the same feedback that there's a special feeling when they enter the building already. Yeah, and then you see all the people when they have a break, for example. Yeah, it's like a coffee, a cafeteria area or a cafeteria feeling
Hmm.
in a coffee shop, and this is really the feeling what spreads around. And there's a saying: once comment, always comment. Yeah. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
we have a lot of people. Really, we have a lot of people who are long standing with the company. So almost every year at the Christmas party, we celebrate the long standing people, right?
Hmm.
And at least the whole stage is full of people celebrating some anniversaries, right?
That's really
So
cool. But that's
yeah,
not necessarily a usual, thing to have nowadays. People usually change jobs 3, 4, 5 times, just a couple of years. So I mean, only culture is still not enough. You have to also offer something else, in terms of success and in terms of also, good revenues, etc. So, what do you think is your secret sauce?
It's a good question, actually. I mean, there are a few topics which, first of all, magnetize the people to stick with the company. And first of all, it's, as I mentioned, the culture. Secondly, it's this international approach. So you're in daily contact with people all around the world, and this really makes fun. And it's also the product itself. The purpose of the product is really serving a value, right? And when you have a look at our key customers, our key accounts, then this is really outstanding. For example, all the offices of Facebook are equipped with our technology. Data centers of Amazon, then London Underground, New York Metro, Paris Metro. Then there's, for example, Marina Bay Sands Hotel, if you know that in Singapore. Yeah. We do, for example, in this particular project, I've been there, and I've been to many places actually in the course of my job, especially when I was in sales, and I've been to prisons and hotels and
oh my God. Yeah.
Undergrounds. But this Marina Bay Sands alone has 140 lifts. This huge building,
and you're like, I like this place. I like this place.
Yeah, it's really amazing place.
Yeah.
And there are regulations, and a lift is only allowed to be operated when the emergency call is working, right? Because if you're trapped, you have to find a way to communicate yourself.
Yeah.
And if that is down, then the lift is down. And if the lift is down, then the building is down.
Yeah.
Because the building can only be operated with the lift. Yeah. And there's a nice story from Otis. This lift company. I think they were the first ones with lifts, and they say that the trigger for these tall buildings, which enabled to make these tall buildings, were the elevators actually. Yeah. It was not the building, the construction technology itself. It was the elevator. Yeah. So it's really minor what you don't think about.
So it's like the elevator makes the music. Not only the elevator music, but yeah, absolutely. Well, I think I just had my one joke shot and it was terrible. By the way, I'm going to be cooking this terrible looking mushroom. Look at this. It's like a mushroom mutant with an egg and some cream. So it's one of my favorite types of omelets. I don't use other fat than the cream itself, which just enriches it, and salt and pepper. So when I do it, you will see it, but you won't be able to taste it. Which is sometimes actually just which is sometimes life-saving, but I say this all the time. The good thing about Entrepreneur's Kitchen is everybody gets to eat their own food.
You don't have to share.
Exactly. I'm like, no executives were harmed in making of this show.
Yeah, the responsibility would be high, right?
Exactly. Well, so let's talk about also, the last comeback, which was, I think, in 2012.
Right.
Oh, since 2005, you haven't been at another. Okay. So
I'm a dinosaur.
Oh my God! Wow, that's a lot of years in one company. Yeah. Well done. So 2005, and then you come as an account manager in 2012, and you start climbing up. And I've looked at the at some of the trade commerce websites, and it says 2012, right in that year when you started. as an innovation manager, you had a revenue around 30 million euros. And then in 2015, 3 years later, it already doubled. And then in 2018, I don't know the latest number because it's not published yet, 2018, you had 80 million. And I think in 2019, I'm not sure whether that's an official number, it's around 90 million. So it's like, almost, it's a quite nice growth rate probably in terms of revenue. What did you do?
Actually, I have to say, what did the team do?
Yes.
And we did, of course, we did a lot of things we did right. Yeah, otherwise we would not celebrate this success. On the other hand, we also did a lot of things wrong. But this leads me to one of the most important things. What we live in our culture, it's a failure culture, right? So you're allowed to make failures and to test things out, and if it doesn't work, then you change it and then you do it a different way. I think we hear it a lot of times also in the course of those videos or interviews, and I think this is one of the most important things, and also that you have an open line communication with your people, right? I think this is the most important thing. The first day, and I say this very often, the first day you lose the connection to your team members, then you're lost. Then you are like flying with an airplane with dead instruments, right? And this would definitely lead in a crash. And this is definitely a very important ingredient. Yeah, and of course we are in a highly interesting market niche. And as I told already, some of those solutions we'll make, we are really in a high margin business, which creates high value to customers. And this requires proximity to our customers. And this is also something which the people very much like. In other companies, you hear comments like, okay, stop your traveling because we are short in budget. I always push my people, right? I say, travel to the customer, yeah? Because it's also, for me, much easier to convince the direction we need to go if they get information firsthand from the customers.
Yeah, and I think also this is a very important way of innovating, because if you're close by your customers, then you can immediately see what's working for them, what's not working for them. But I also want you to mention one of the important things is that you guys don't sell stuff, although it's not like the most expensive product in the world. But you still don't sell it for one time. You sell products that are actually expandable. How did you come up with that?
I believe this emerged over time because our products have long innovation cycles. So you have to really, body innovates, you really have to think this thoroughly through. And this means that we have to design the products that they are long-serving. Yeah. And that also the components we source are available for a long time. Yeah, so we only source industry components and that kind of stuff. Also we have looked at those product world is like we call it the Lego world, right? So you can combine this together in very versatile ways. And so this way we can serve parking customers to an oil rig, to typically building security projects for I mentioned, and also mass transit projects like London Underground, yeah, or parking. Parking is one of our vertical, which is one of our key verticals actually. Yeah, what you don't know probably in we have a market share of almost 10% with the big parking operators like Conti Park, Q Park, and so on. In Salzburg, Metzger Garage, for example, is served by our technology.
And I remember when I visited you guys in the company, you were showing me around, and it felt like there were actually no hierarchies at all. Everybody was just so collegial, and you always talked about things, and it was all open, and you were just knock on my door and ask me whatever you need. And And I also remember this one young, guy kind of
Yes.
trying to do things, and you were like, what are you doing? And he says, well, I'm just trying out a couple of things. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. And you're like, yeah, awesome, tell me about it. Um, so I mean, creating this kind of atmosphere where you can actually just let people be, and you don't have to be in control of everything, it can also just go horribly wrong. How do you manage that it kind of stays really on the right course?
That's indeed a very important question. First of all, it's always the same story, right? You have to create a vision, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
A vision which is tangible, which the people can think about it and they can envision it, which energizes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and with the vision, once you have done that, and this is difficult enough, but then you have to create a strategy to achieve this vision, right? At someday. And the strategy work is we have an annual cycle of strategy work where we annually plan our stuff, what we need to do on every corner, yeah, from administration to innovation to logistics and also sales, of course. And then we have a very well developed, in the meantime, very well developed innovation process. Yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
call it the strategic innovation.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and there we really try to maintain our technical world in a way that it's improved over
Mm-hmm.
time, right? And driven by the feedback, driven by two very important directions. Yeah, this is first of all the market feedback. Yeah, and secondly the technology. I'm
Mm-hmm.
convinced that innovation is driven by two components, which is market and which is technology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then in order to really make those people productive, then we have all sort of we have this semi-annual innovation cycle, yeah, and then we have monthly reviews of all our innovation projects. We have weekly stand-ups in all our teams, yeah. So in 10 years ago, we still had those sure fixes, right? 1 hour, 2 hour, all people sitting together. Now we have standing in a circle, 30 minutes, everybody says what is important for the team, and then
Yeah.
half an hour quick time out. Yeah, finish. And we almost every time we get through with that. Yeah, so with timing. So this is very efficient. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, when I was talking to, maybe you remember the conversation, if you had a chance to cheers, if you had a chance to tune in with Stefan Beckas. He says, if you're in he's from the cars industry, automotive industry, and he said a very interesting thing. He said, if you're production focused, so if your only focus is to produce as much as possible, to kind of allow your market share to grow, then of course you have a problem that you have to sell all those physical products. And the car manufacturers had a difficulty coming up with a software service model that is feasible and that actually really works for the car manufacturing companies. In your case, it was almost the same thing, but then you figured out a way, and you brought your business from the physical product to cloud and to cloud services. And it happened in the last couple of years. It happened real quick, which helped you, even during that disruptive innovation phase, you managed to double your revenue again. And how did you get rid of all the fear people wanted to, did your employees, did they have any hesitancies? Did they have any fears? How did you manage to, bring their mindset from that product to an entirely different product?
Yeah, that is management of change, right? And with change, the first thing what you have to look at is what you want to achieve, of course, yeah. But then you have to manage your stakeholders, and there are many stakeholders, of course. Also with a rather small company as we are, yeah. But 200 people is still a lot, and yeah, you have always different directions.
Yeah, I mean, if 200 people disagree, then there is a problem.
Yeah, of course, of course. If 200 people disagree, then you better go home. Yeah, then you better close down and say, okay, I'm finished.
Yeah.
Then this was wrong. Yeah, I mean, I had a big advantage. I know the company in and out, right? And you always have certain movements, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have those forward thinkers, and you have those traditional people.
Yeah.
And, you have to get those together. But
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, at a certain time, you have to try to get them all on board, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you have to make a decision. Yeah. And manage the different directions we have in the company. Yeah. And of course, some people, when you have fallbacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
The traditional people get strong and then they raise their voice, right? But then it's hard, but you have to manage those times. Those are the most difficult times in leadership, of course. Yeah, but you have to come over this. And if you strongly believe in your vision, yeah, and if you have the critical people to support, yeah, then you get over it.
So change management is actually communication.
Sorry, what?
It's communication.
A lot, a lot, a lot.
I think that's one thing
you
that
need a thick skin, right?
yes, well, I think a lot of people actually forget that. They think, now this is the strategy, this is the vision, this is the mission, and if I just send this via email, I'm going to be onboarding everyone. Or if I just manage a meeting, where I just announce this publicly, then people will be all sold. But it's more than that. It's the one-on-one. It's you go to your people, you make sure that everybody's really understanding what you want to change and why you want to change it and things like that. And actually, questions are coming in. How's your food doing? That's my question. Yeah, see?
I will fill in some water.
Yeah, perfect. So I'm doing the whipping of my egg with the cream and some salt and pepper. I already did the mushrooms, and now it's going to be awesome. Yay. So the question I see here on Slido is a very short one. It says, what drives technology?
What drives technology? Pooh. So technology itself, I think, is I like this consideration of what is the difference between research and development, right? In the research, you create knowledge, yeah, and in innovation, you digest, like you use this knowledge, yeah, in order to drive innovation. This is a little bit shortcut of in English words. In German, it's a little bit different, but and I think a lot of things is created in research. Yeah, I mean, you see the Internet protocol, Wi-Fi. I don't know, all the CPU technology. When you have a look, we started with in our intercom stations, right, which are mounted in the walls and in the cabinets and wherever. All CPU driven, of course. It's high tech. And when we started with the new generation of, you still can hear me?
I can.
A little bit of noise.
It's okay.
And when we started with this new CPU processing unit family, right? This was back in 2013. And now already 5 years, 7 years, 6 years later, we need to change to a completely new iteration of this family because it consumes half of the power. Yeah, it has double of the computing capacity, and it's priced even 30% cheaper. So you always have to keep pace with this technology steps, right? I think I've answered this question.
Well, kind of indirectly, but it's okay. But when you guys really differentiate between the research phase and the development phase consciously. And I remember one of the things that I found really also interesting, and when I was visiting you at Command International, is that your production facilities, which is immediately right where you are, and it's just like one door. You just enter suddenly a small factory of where people are working and doing all those assembling all those products. And what I found also interesting is that you had unusually large number of women, which I thought was like, that's interesting. So you also keep attention around these topics, because I mean, it's really difficult to find women in such, technical jobs.
Yeah, it is indeed. And we are blessed with that fact. I'm very glad that you sense that. But it's also difficult across the departments. In production, in administration, marketing, we have a high portion or share of female colleagues. In technology, we would like to have much more. Yeah? So it's really difficult generally in Salzburg to find good people. Yeah, and especially then also female specialists.
Yeah. So, are you providing any support for these questions? I know that you have a program with the technical high school here. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I think our human resources department is also doing a great job because we have a good partnership with a lot of universities, with a lot of those Fachhochschulen, and also those technical colleges, right? Those HTLs we call them. And really amazing good people are coming out from there, and the run for those people is incredible. Yeah. So when you go to these exhibitions where they present themselves, the schools, right? And when the companies get the chance to also present them at the fairs, the run is really incredible. And the companies try to get them. It's almost like in professional sports, like in football, when you read in newspaper that the 15 young talent is 15 million euros or 20 million euros worth, right? Yeah. And this is almost like this, and not those prices, of course. But it's also a very strong run for those talents in technology, especially.
But I really like the fact that you're trying to find new minds and also young people where they are already being educated. You're supporting these universities. You're paying attention to kind of keeping the also gender balance and cultural balance, and these things are really, really important. And as I said, once you visit your headquarters, you just realize that there's a different kind of air in those places. And what I also find quite interesting with you as an executive, as a leadership person, is that you still go to school. I mean, school in terms of, you still go and educate yourself. And the reason why we've met was because you were taking a couple of weeks off to study at Andreas Spechler's Silicon Castles Academy. So you're someone, and you read a lot. What are you reading actually right now? Corona reading list?
I'm reading actually at the moment. What I recently finished was this Innovator's Dilemma by Clayton Christensen.
Ah, okay.
This is one of the nicest books I've ever read. Yeah, this is really amazing. Also, which is a very nice book I recently read, was from Ian Sewell, Subscribed.
Okay.
He explains the transformation to service and especially SaaS business, right? Where everything can be transformed into service and software revenue stream. So this kind of books I really love. Yeah. And they, of course, they match it perfectly with the strategic alignment what we need to do every day. And so the world is very, how can I say, flexible, fast moving. Yeah. And you need to be on the latest step. And there's a saying I recently read, and I really like that. great great leaders are good educators or something like that, who are also lifelong learners.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you always need to be on top of the knowledge, otherwise you are not keeping pace with your people. Yeah, your people are anyhow best in their subjects. You never complete them best. Best you don't do it, because this would lead in a disaster. But you need to also always up to date in terms of leadership and management.
And also, one other interesting thing is your relationship, your company's relationship with arts. What I find really funny and good at the same time is that you produce products that are named after musical genres. You have a product that's called symphony, and so how come?
Yeah, we have a great marketing team, and of course, they were visionary. And at the first place, I really had to struggle with that, and I couldn't grasp the idea. But at the end, I'm really amazed about it, because yeah, we come from Salzburg. Our competitors come from other corners in the world, yeah. But we wanted to somehow emphasize that we are from Salzburg, yeah, and we are an audio company, yeah, and Salzburg is a classical music company, right? So there, this idea came together, and I really like that. This is our brand architecture, right? And Symphony is our new world of digital transformation, yeah. But we have products called like the conductor, yeah, the duetto, and yeah, all different types of product names, which really sound nicely, yeah.
Awesome. What is your best-selling product line right now? That's a question on Slido again.
Our best product lines are those who are going into building security. This is our strongest segment, and our strongest products. Strong sellers are those for outdoor use, harsh environments, IK, so impact protection, so mechanical impact, and also water ingression, dust ingression. So those harsh products, they sell most.
And I mean, when you think about it, you had, this whole transformation topic in the last couple of years. So you had to onboard your own employees, but also you had to onboard your customers, because I can imagine if you're a prison, what is it, director, or if you're the state that owns the prison and that kind of administrates the prison, it must have been also a nightmare to onboard them.
Yeah, it's still a hard fight, and as we know from, there's also a nice book which is called the Crossing the Chasm, right? And it's product cycles, the early adopters and the late adopters and so on. You also have customer segments which are early adopters, customer segments which are late adopters. A prison definitely is a late adopter, yeah, because prisons is of course by nature high security. And they don't want to have any physical connection of their internal systems to the outside world. But early adopters, for example, are those tall apartment buildings, for example, yeah, or those mixed development buildings where you have shopping centers, offices, and apartments. Those are definitely early adopters, and we have really interesting leads. For example, real estate management companies who are running real estate objects of 50,000 plus or 100,000 plus. You cannot imagine. I didn't know that this is really existing. But there are customers who run their objects in all the major cities in the world. And when you mentioned I have around about 80,000 of those objects, people move. And around about 20 to 30% of people move every day, every year, in and out. So from 80,000 to 30%, and this is a lot of job to be done to change the names on the labeling of the
doorbells and things.
Of the doorbell, thank you, yeah. And all this different kind of stuff. So they have to automate that, yeah. And they need to find partners for such things.
So command is going to make doormans jobless. Oh my god.
For example.
Well, that's one possibility. How's your food doing? Look at mine. Look at this beautiful look. See? Ah, yeah, it's really good. It's very, very good. Yeah, it's really, really good.
I think this tastes better as it looks, but good.
Don't worry about it. Most of my food also you looked like you would just want to throw it away, but.
This is one moment I need to get a spoon.
This is this is really good. I don't know whether my engine room wants some of this too. Excellent.
Oh, you eat already?
Well, I had dinner actually, but this once you're cooking this, it smells so good you can't resist. Exactly. So it's really easy. It's just mushrooms, some cream, and an egg, and some pepper and salt. I realized that entrepreneurs have actually almost no difficulties finding dishes to prepare with only 3 ingredients. I'm asking myself whether I should reduce it to only 1. That would be a real challenge. Yeah, it's like most recipes have 3 ingredients. It's okay. Yeah, it's not a big cooking fight. But now it's going to be a big joke fight because we're almost at the end of the show. Time flies by. So, what is your joke? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely with telling jokes. I'm stepping out of my comfort zone.
Good.
I'd rather listen to jokes. Yeah, I'd rather listen to jokes. But I'm also a fan of those. What's the name of the guy? I always forget him. What we talked before.
Chuck Norris?
Chuck Norris?
Yeah.
I'm also a fan of Chuck Norris, but I will not spoil and will not tell a Chuck Norris joke. I will tell a joke which goes back to the 90s. I heard that one the first time. It's a really old one. It's a long beard, right? But I really enjoy it because it's the competition, between Austria and the Mühlviertel, right? So the northern county of Upper Austria, and like you said, this Friesenwitz, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have those Mühlviertel-Witze jokes. And
so you make fun of other Austrians.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Every Austrian is himself the bad Austrian, right?
Yeah, just stay closer to the microphone so we can really understand every word.
Is it better?
Yeah, much better.
How do Mühlviertler create apricot jam?
How does a Mühlviertler create an apricot jam?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
They squeeze it out from pushing dumplings. That was my best
That's
try.
hilarious. That's funny. That was really good. Okay, I have a Chuck Norris witz. I have a Chuck Norris joke actually. What is Chuck Norris's blood type?
I don't know this one.
AK-47. I know so many Chuck Norris jokes. I'm better than Alexa in this.
I recently heard another one of him. Chuck Norris doesn't celebrate birthdays. The birthday celebrates Chuck Norris.
Absolutely. Yeah. Or there's this one. Chuck Norris threw a hand grenade and 50 people died. And afterwards, the hand grenade exploded. or this is also cool. Chuck Norris can hear sign language.
Can hear?
He can hear sign language.
What is sign language?
Sign language is when deaf people people with hearing impairment,
Yeah.
shed noise, you can hear it. Cool. Awesome.
There's another one.
Oh, no, we're cracking jokes. Friday night, guys.
When Chuck Norris makes push-ups, right? Yeah, he doesn't push up. Actually, he pushes the earth away.
Exactly. I'm back. Well, this was the Friday night special joke section with more than 3 jokes. And before the quality goes all down, we better end the show. Well, I want to thank you, Gerhard, so much for joining me tonight. I'm looking forward to seeing you soon again for one of the projects we're working together on for Sonophilia Foundation. And really, thanks so much for taking the time and setting this all up and being with us tonight. I'm wishing you and your family a great weekend.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm really honored by this. And really thank you for the great format. I mentioned it already today. You're doing a great job. It's really nice what you're doing.
Thank you so much. By the way, you stay in the line for a short after show party. And I'm going to say bye to my guests at the other side of the line. Guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight at another episode of The Entrepreneur's Kitchen. On Monday, we will keep going. At least definitely until the shutdown ends, and afterwards we'll see how life comes to us. Thank you so much for sticking with me for 28 episodes already. I'm hoping that you will join me next week as well. Bye and take care.